friends. Welcome to my new weekly Let's Spill the Tea with me, myself, and magic, which will be every Wednesday at 6 p.m. This is my first one, so everyone please bear with me. I will say a lot, and it will start to drive you a bit nuts, so do feel free in the comments to tell me to just get your head together, Faye. But I'm Phaedra. Faye is fine. And I wanted to set up this weekly live because I want to create a safe space for introverts and extroverts who love all things Disney or DC, Marvel, and just everything fairy tale and fantasy, which as adults we can be looked at with a bit of a sideways look for, you're an adult, why on earth do you care about this stuff? You shouldn't be talking about Beauty and the Beast. Like, you should be a grown-up. But I don't want to be a grown-up. I'm quite happy to be myself most of the time, and I encourage everybody else to want to be themselves and just talk about the things that they really like. So I am happy for anyone to ask any questions. I know that not everyone will be able to sort of join the live and ask live questions, so anything you put in the comments I will attempt to get back to you. I do want to say, so I'm going to do this first and then it's out the way, to say yes, I run a business and it's After Ever After Shoes, and I create fairy tale and comic book inspired designs on those shoes for adults. They're all homemade, but we do have a sale on until Friday because my birthday is next week, and I thought I will share the love with everyone and give everyone 10% off until Sunday, and then that's it, because then it's Valentine's Day. Well, then it'll be marketing for Valentine's Day. So that is my sales pitch out of the way, so we can just talk about the stuff we want to. Now, I want to start by answering a couple of questions that people have sent me from my last video, which was a trial run, and that's come up on my Instagram and Facebook when I've been posting different pictures. So I have them written down. Louise on my Instagram, I don't know if she's going to watch this or not, but her question's answered anyway. She said, how did I start my business? Like, how did I get the money to create my first designs? And the answer to that is I spent no money on my first designs. I went to the charity shop down the road in the Roman, and I got a peep toe. I think they're like size 6 peep toe, like old Aldo heels. So I got them. They cost me like £3 or something, like something ridiculous. So I was stuck indoors anyway because of lockdown. It was the very beginning. Oh no, we must have been locked down for about a month by then. And sorry, I just realised. Don't want to show my flabby tummy. And I got those. They were like, let's just round it up and say like £4, £5. And I had some acrylic paint, which was just lying around from something I probably started and never bothered to finish. And I was bored. So I thought, I was actually, no, it wasn't even that. I think I was watching Frozen, or I'd just seen Frozen 2. And I love Elsa and Anna. I always like to think I'm Elsa, but I'm pretty sure I'm Anna. I'm that awkward person who falls in love at the drop of the hat, and it's a terrible idea, but has all the ideas and just fails them. I'm definitely Anna over Elsa, I think. But I do love Elsa and her ice magic, so I thought, oh, I'll paint them blue, like the nice blue that Elsa has of her dress. And then I went to Hobbycraft, I think it was, got some glitter because ice sparkles, so glitter. So I just drew some, like an outline of a snowflake on it, covered it in glue, like PVA glue, like proper pound shop paper mache PVA glue from primary school, covered it in glitter, and it actually turned out all right. And I was actually quite impressed with myself, but they weren't my size because they were a size 6. So I thought, okay, let me try and make a proper, like, spend time and make a proper pair, which I did, which were in my size, which I absolutely love them, which I can't wear now. I attempted to wear them in the snow to get a picture of them the other day, and I almost froze to death. So that was my first design. It cost me under probably about £7 to do. So never, and I really dislike when you watch videos on like YouTube and stuff, and they're always saying things, oh yeah, you need to get this special Mod Podge glue, you need to get this special glitter, you need to do all this stuff, and you really don't, because just do something with what you have, and if you really like it, then sure, go and invest in it, but don't just think, oh, I can only use this glue to do it. No, do whatever you want, create whatever you want. Show them to me. And if you're worried that people are going to like criticize them if you put them on Facebook or whatever, just send them to me. I'll look at them and I will give you my honest opinion in a nice way. Constructive criticism, not mean criticism. So I'm happy to do that. And then I have one other question which someone sent me, which was, what was my favourite fairy tale? Oh, my favourite fairy tale. It's a very big question. It's got to be either Beauty and the Beast or Rapunzel. Yeah. Oh, maybe Cinderella. I don't know. I can't pick them. It's like saying to pick like a child. Like, who's your favourite child? And I can't do that. I'm sorry. Oh, there was another one that someone asked me literally just before I came on here. It was actually my mum who said it. She said, why is anyone going to bother listening to you? And I don't expect anyone to listen to me. But like, what do you know about fairy tales? And all I can say is, yeah, my degree was in English literature, so I did do a lot of like analysing and like proper, and I did take quite a few courses when I was in my degree on fairy tales, and there was a whole one about Disney and how it had changed the market of like publishing and things. So I did do all the technical stuff. More than anything, I just have unbridled love for everything fairy tale, particularly the Grimm fairy tales. I do love Disney. Disney is like my go-to when I feel sad or rubbishy. I always watch a Disney movie because it does cheer me up, and I like singing and musicals, which are very catchy. But the Grimm fairy tales are in my opinion, they are the proper fairy tales. They are the no holds barred. You go into the forest, you're gonna get eaten by a witch level, which sort of is, over the years, it's got very commercialized and like sanitized. Like, we can't expose kids to like dark elements of things, which I don't really agree with, because the original fairy tales were meant as lessons. They were to teach you things. So like now we're taught like don't take candy from strangers, and that's basically what Hansel and Gretel was, from when before there was even written word, and it was all word of mouth. That's basically what Hansel and Gretel was telling you. You wandered off, you found some candy, you thought you're going to eat this gingerbread house, and turns out there's an evil witch in there who's going to cook you. It's just teaching. It's about teaching lessons, and Disney are getting much better with it. They sort of were really good at it when I was young, in like the early to mid 90s, when they did like Mulan, and it was very like I'm saving China, and you had like Atlantis, which was very like female empowerment and magic, and you had all of those really like strong female characters. Even Beauty and the Beast, you had Belle, who was basically married the Beast for a library. In my opinion, she wanted the library. That's when she started to like him. The way to my heart. Take me to a bookshop and buy me like 50 books, and I'll probably marry you. Well, if you build me a library, I'll definitely marry you. But see, I told you I'd say him a lot. they were very good back then, and they're getting better now, like with Frozen 2. Tangled was a good one. They sort of moving further away from the I'm a damsel in distress, you must save me. Hercules was another good one back in the 90s. That was very Megara. The female lead in that was basically the most kick-ass woman that's ever existed. And I love her. I really must do a blog on her, actually. This week my blog's going to be on Hades from Hercules, because he is the sassiest character that's ever appeared, I think, in any Disney film. But also because I absolutely love the original Greek myths. Stephen Fry's mythos and Heroes and Troy books are brilliant. And I've always liked there's loads of books you'll find, like if you go on Amazon and type in modern fairy tales, there's a lot of fairy tale retelling set in modern times, and there is some really good ones about Zeus and Hades, where they are basically normal people, and they are really, really good. Who was up? Not PC Cast. She did some really good ones. Really strong female empowerment books based on Greek myths. But it's going to really bug me because I can't remember who did Zeus and Hades. I will look it up. It's on my Kindle somewhere. And I will look it up and I will write it. And that was my tangent, but those are the questions that people have asked me. I don't want this to be one of those really long live videos. So anyone has any other questions, put them in the comments. And then I don't want it to go longer than 15 minutes. So the last thing I will ask you, or if you watch, what is everyone's thoughts on the Grimm's fairy tales and your favourite Grimm's fairy tale? My favourite Grimm story is definitely Cinderella and Tangled, because one, I like the fact it's not just one ball, one night. She met him for half an hour and apparently they fell in love. It was a 3-day festival that she went to. She cried so much at her mother's grave where a willow tree grew, and that's how her wish was granted, for her to have a dress and shoes and just to go to the palace. That was all she wanted. She just wanted to go to the festival. She had absolutely no intentions of finding a prince or anything else. That's why she ran away. She ran away for 3 days, 3 nights. At midnight, she left, and she actually if you see Into the Woods, do a really good version of it. But she kept running away because she didn't know. She didn't know about Prince or what to do with that, because she was quite naive about it all. And then fast forward to the end, well, mid to end, and the glass slipper travelling around. The stepmother cuts off the heel of one of the stepsisters and then cuts off the toe, the baby toe of the other one, to try and fit the foot into the glass slipper. And it even describes in the Grimm story how the glass slipper fills with blood, because you can see it because it's glass. So I mean, and then to add even more insult on top of that, after they work out that Cinderella is the one who the shoe fits, which I do have issues with the fact that you're basically marrying a foot, not a person. Anyway, and then Cinderella, who sings to birds and they sort of do what she says, she calls her birds and they peck the stepsisters' eyes out. They blind them. I mean, it's not your Disney version of it at all. But that there was a comeuppance. They were evil to her. They were absolutely horrid and bad. They got punished. They got punished for their behaviour. And Cinderella got rewarded. And that is like a moral of a story. And Tangled, I was going to say, it's going to go over 15 minutes, but I don't care, because I really, really, really love the Grimm stories. But the Tangled, which is based on Rapunzel, the prince climbs the tower. She's locked in a tower by a witch, who is her mother. She climbs the tower. Basically, We're not sure. It doesn't actually say that he rapes her necessarily, but it does seem a bit odd that he climbed a tower and she suddenly was willing to sleep with the first bloke. But anyway, and he kept coming back. And one day, Rapunzel turns to her mother in the tower and says, "I don't understand. My dress won't fit properly." So the mother's like, "Oh, okay." And then the mother realizes that Rapunzel's pregnant. Rapunzel hasn't got a flipping clue about anything about pregnancy because she hasn't been taught about it. She doesn't know. She just thinks that, oh, my dress doesn't fit. And the witch punishes her daughter and decides to send Rapunzel to a swamp. So a tiny island in the middle of a swamp. The swamp is filled with vipers, poisonous snakes. So she can't get off the little island without being bitten by these poisonous snakes. And because by this point she's had the children, it's her, and I think she ends up with like 2 kids or something in the Grimm story. She ends up on this island with her 2 kids, stuck, tiny little island in a swamp. And then the prince, who goes running off to go and see Rapunzel at the tower, the queen causes the thorn bushes, which I think Disney stole and put it in Sleeping Beauty, which is a whole other thing, which does bug me about Disney. Anyway, she makes these thorns come, and then which to throw the prince. So the prince's horse throws him, and he lands. The thorns land in his eyes and blind him. Blinding is a very common thread, it seems, in the Grimm fairy tales. But he goes then, so he's blinded, goes back on his horse, and then he's wandering around, blinded on his horse, and he does hear her voice. He hears Rapunzel's voice singing from the island, and he leads his horse by following the sound to her, and they are reunited. She runs across the little lake thing. She gets bitten, she's poisoned. They find each other, but then the mother does a spell which saves Rapunzel, and then her tears, because she is the daughter of a witch, her tears heal his eyes and he can see again. And then the children aren't really mentioned again, but I'm going to assume one of them went back across the island to get the children to bring them back to the normal mainland. Anyway, and then they all lived happily ever after. But the witch did not get a comeuppance. No, Rapunzel just refused to ever see her mother again, which was very sad, I imagine, for the witch, who, in a very misguided way, was trying to look after Rapunzel, but was basically imprisonment and manipulation at its finest. And Stockholm Syndrome, I'm pretty sure most psychiatrists would agree that's Stockholm Syndrome. Anyway, I'm aware that I've gone way over my 15-minute time. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about Grimm's fairy tales, but do tell me what your favourite stories are. I love conversations about all things myth and legend, so spam me with as much stuff as you want. And I will hopefully see some of you next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I will endeavour for it to always be at 6 o'clock every Wednesday, barring any complications. But as we're all stuck indoors, it will probably, safe to say, it will happen. So thank you. Comment, subscribe, do whatever you wish, share with other people, and yeah, have a lovely rest of the week. Okay, stay safe.